Okay then, so next up in the Bonds of Friendship, final legendary bout, we have Ironclad. Now this one I wasn't too worried about. I had Fire Absorption for Cloud, so it does use some Fire Agas, which could definitely be annoying. But in general, I think unless you're really clumsy, you should be able to generally kind of keep away enough to not at least get both of them killed. I think you can definitely make a mistake on something like Thanatosian Blade. I'm actually going to properly look at the name this time if I see it. It's one of those words that's just been like, is it Thantosian, Thanosian, Thanatosian? I need to properly see it now that I'm watching back the recording. But yeah, the stop lasts for quite a long time there. At least we can build up ATB. So it's a way for us to obviously get more of a head start. Charge up the synergy ability bars as well. Also susceptible to venom, which helps us too. And as long as you block the regular attacks, it's not too bad. Yeah, so its moves like Crush, for example, they're far easier to evade than something like Bahamut's Crush Grip. So a pretty strong start so far, and I want to keep up the momentum with that. And Zack can load up some ATB while that happens. So we've managed to cancel out the Sharpen there. Let's see if it immediately goes back to it. Unfortunately, Zack also doesn't have Lightning, which is another reason why Alexander is a pain in the arse, because at least if he could cover all of the elements, well, at least Fire, Ice and Lightning, it would have made life much easier, because Alexander's of course weak to Lightning. But yeah, Zack doesn't have it, so against this guy as well, it also hinders things a little bit. His damage potential is a bit less. There you go, Condemned. It's the kind of move that can obviously put you in a lot of trouble if you don't evade it. My turn. Yeah, so 2,715, just really not that much, unfortunately. So I just wish we had a better way to damage him. Like this particular build, magically we just can't damage him very much. We have no lightning abilities. And he's generally like pretty good defensively. And I'm not very good attackingly when it comes to melee. So I did give up the crush there. Not good. I did save your clumsy, and I think that was pretty clumsy. But especially with two people, it's okay. Like they're the kind of mistakes that you can get away with, I think. Let's do this. Leave it to the computer to defend the Fire Aga there. So don't get a perfect block in, but still. So the momentum is slowed. I was doing pretty well in the beginning, but now things have slowed down a little. I decided to sacrifice a bit to get a little power back here. So 3,300. Bear in mind then Aeroga from Zack did like 2,700 or something. So you can see the difference. It's literally a whole tier lower, but with the weakness plus how good Cloud's magic is in general, it's making a difference. Yeah, that time I tried to get a perfect block. You see how that went. So this is the kind of fight I reckon if you're much better at like using Zack and charging up like those meteor shots and that kind of thing, you're going to do much better than I did. Or if you have a build that also includes lightning, that will make a big difference. Like I'm reluctant to use too much of it because I'm just worried about MP, but there you go. So you saw there, Cloud still got his MP back. The thing is, I put MP Absorption onto Wind plus Lightning materia, But because I didn't have like magic focus and stuff, I've got magic focus on my wind materia, but not the lightning materia. And so I thought as a result of that, it's not going to be as effective. But it's still, basically, he can get all of the MP back, pretty much. So using Thundarga there was still the right call. And definitely swung things back in our favor again. And now I have the big limit break to put the finishing touch on, hopefully. And now I'm going to try to see if I can get Zack to heal before Ironclad dies. Let's get a quick Curaga in. Why did I do Cura? I think for speed. But I think Curaga would have been fine. Like, as long as you start the animation, I think it still lets you get the heal in. But there you go, especially once I started to bring the Thundargas out, it was much better. So, who's next? Ah, yes. My buddy Alexander. So, I think here... Let's see how I tackle this. Because basically, again, Alexander's early enough that I don't just want to use Thundarga to take out the arms, because you don't get MP back, which I still hate. I still think it's really cheap that that's the case. I don't understand why, because it should just be based on the numerical damage that you do. But yeah, here I go for something a little different. Basically, I'm already assuming that I'm not going to be able to take Alexander out in one stagger, because we don't have a second lightning user. And so that's why I went for a re-raise from the start. Actually, wait. This was the fight where I realized that you don't get your MP back. So that's why I did it. Basically, my whole plan was to get 2 re-raises here. And then I was just going to use Thundarga on the arms that was very weak to Thunder anyway. And then I was just going to get a lot of my MP back. So it seemed like a very good idea. But watch what happens now. So I've got 33 MP. I come in with a big Thundarga here, thinking I'll get my MP back. Watch Cloud's MP. It does quad 9 damage, but he gets no MP back. So this was the fight where I first noticed it, and it really pissed me off because I completely shot myself in the foot. Because I need that MP to do damage on Alexander's body. I literally don't have enough MP left to use a Thundarga now. So I completely ruined it because I didn't realize that mechanic up until now. It's the kind of thing you could argue, like I've definitely been using MP Absorb up until this point. I should have realized, but I didn't. It's just so unintuitive. Like, I can't find an explanation for why that's the case. Like, if the arms were like super tanky and they only had like 1000 HP and you only actually did 200 damage to the arm, then I would say, okay, you didn't do much damage, so you don't get the MP back. But here I'm just like left with kind of no choice, because then the punitive spheres are going to start to come in and things are going to get really nasty. So I decided to just go for it anyway. But I was really annoyed at this point. I thought I've come this far already and we've kind of screwed up here. I go for it here. Nowhere near enough. Like, without like Thundara or Thundarga or something, you're just not doing a lot of damage. Again, maybe Prime Mode or something would have helped there. So this is going to hurt. Yep. So there we go. Zack is back, but all of his ATB is gone. So now I was like, well, now I'm definitely dead. Let's see what happens. Managed to steal an ATB there. That was pretty quick from him. Arise. He's got some MP at least. And they both have full limit breaks. So if we can survive long enough to get this arm one more time, it's a small chance we could do a bit of damage here. But I just hate this spinning. It's so annoying. It's almost impossible for me to get any kind of perfect block, and if you get a normal block, it's still a waste your time. I'm like, you know what, forget this. I thought if the tracking beam hits us both, we're dead. And yeah, it hit us. Just too many attacks, like when you get to this stage, it's just doing too much damage.
Gotta be careful.
Right. The last stand. So as a final screw you, it took away my limit break.
Wow, some hero you turned out to be.
So yeah, that was my first real attempt there. And it ended at Alexander. Round 7. So the reason it ended was for something unfair, and that's why I wanted to keep this fight in. I don't care what anyone says, MP absorption not working on the arms is completely unfair and completely bullshit, and it completely ruined my entire strategy for the fight. So now what we're going to do is skip ahead to one where it worked, and you'll see that it was a little bit easier when I actually knew what was coming and planned for it accordingly. Okay, this was the very next attempt. By this stage I was definitely starting to gain a bit more practice with the fight. I think I'd been at it for, I'd say about 3 hours at this point, so I definitely started to learn things a little better. Yeah, that does like nothing. I wanted to give it a try. I didn't get to try it in the last fight. But basically I'm trying to buff up Cloud a little more with Zack this time. So that once we're ready to take on the body, like we can really try our best to do some really heavy damage. So Zack at the moment, he's in buff mode. Just about staying out of danger here. This is the kind of thing where ultimately you can probably still use your Thundara and Thundaga, but wasting 70 MP right from the start was just not the right move. Tracking beam. I hate this move. I think it literally does like 5,000-6,000 or something like that if it gets you. Maybe more, I don't know. It's really brutal. Okay, first arm is gone soon. But even the plasma discharge is not doing very much. There you go. Since Cloud's build is very much geared towards doing a lot of magic damage, he also has a reprieve now. If you notice, I changed to an Umbral Blade for this attempt. I'm definitely going to need a reprieve, and so I figured that's the better way to go. It does less magic damage than the previous one that I had, and its physical damage is not very good, but I decided to go for it anyway. Do not let that tracking beam hit. And so now again, it's like I want to make sure I try and have a good amount of ATB here, and there we go. So now we get rolling. Tracking beam worried me, but I think we might have interrupted it. I'm not sure. There we go. I think Cloud can get straight to business here. Right, Thundarg on the body. Go. Almost a stagger. For speed, I just go for the Cura. I decide we probably don't need the Curaga. And there we are. So Cloud still has his haste. This is me obviously just trying to do as much damage as I can in a short time period as possible. Thundarga, you can see I'll get my MP back here. Goes down to 89. Back up to 107. So this is what should have happened in the previous one. It's still not going to be enough to win outright. I'm still not like optimized and good enough to do it like that. But I would say in general this was a much better effort. I'm trying to interrupt it here with Ascension before it gets up, but he just takes a bit too long, I think. Let's see. His animation's still going, but I think the rest of the move gets wasted here. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it resisted, so I wasted the end of it there, which was a shame, but no matter, we keep rolling. Well, he still did something, but I think it did no damage to anything. I'm pretty sure Alexander's HP is exactly the same. So unfortunately it wasn't great. But the good thing about this situation was that during all of this, I basically managed to gain my synergy points again. So I already have another synergy ready to go. Let's see if I spot the tracking beam. I do. Okay, that's good enough, I guess. Yeah, it's getting into that spammy mode again. Sometimes Alexander just... I feel like there's a RNG element to him. And he just gets very spammy. Cloud's very far away here. Probably going to start using some Thunder here. There you go. So yeah, he didn't get his MP back, but I figure once I'm ready to attack the main body, I'll get my MP back. And obviously I don't need to end the round with full MP. It's fine. So from this stage, things get too dangerous, so I can't let the fight drag on for too long. I need to kill him before Divine Judgment. I think with Alexander, the highest level strat is to kill him in the first stagger. The second tier is to kill him before Divine Judgment. But now I'm in a bad place, because this is what I mean. Like, he starts spamming all of this stuff, and it gets very difficult. So Reprieve activates. I'm trying my best to just stay in that middle bit and just heal here. This is pretty desperate stuff. I go for Cura again for speed. Not quick enough. But I'm going to have a chance here. Divine Judgment's going to come, but... So I'm still not executing it properly here, but the fact that Alexander has a lot less health now than he did last time at this stage definitely helps me a bit. So I can arise here. Come on. There you go. Now, can we get this in? I decide not to, I think, yeah, because I'm like, look, I'm just going to get interrupted anyway, what's the point? Cloud will survive this outright, and so he'll keep what little of the ATB he does have, which is useful. So it's going to cost me MP here, but you can see how tough it is. Even with none of the scales, it still did that much damage. Like, even in full might, it does nowhere near that much damage. If you don't have any scales.
You okay?
Right, get out of the way. So now I go for it, I think. There's a little bit of a window here. I don't have ATB anyway, so just go for it. There's a chance we might be able to stagger. And if we do stagger, Cloud is going to get a limit break, a level 2 one at that. So I'm just really pushing now. I think that dodge was useful.
Need a breather.
And get MP back. There you go. And so finally, I was able to just about get the second stagger and finish things off here.
Take it from here. Now you're in for it.
So yeah, the second time of asking, I was able to take care of it. But if Alexander had like another 20-30% HP here, then I wouldn't have been able to do it again.
Ready or not?
And then I realized that Cloud, I think, hasn't used his finishing touch properly.
Enough.
And I was like, oh. Just die. Thankfully it was enough. Yeah, as I say, sometimes I select a limit break and then something happens and it doesn't work, but whatever. Okay, next up is Mind Flayer. This is something that should be a lot easier, mostly because of the psychotic break trick that I learned. You've seen how much damage that one can do. And I think that's like literally the one biggest key to this guy. If you can survive psychotic break, then you should generally be fine. But if you don't know how to survive it, this could be a round that trips you up late on. But I reckon you probably couldn't have made it this far if you don't know how to survive it. So that was unlucky. I almost never get caught in Astral Apprehension. And you saw the insane damage that it did. Like, it did like 3,700 twice. It's like, okay, bro. Like, come on. Who do you think you are? So it's a bit of a random shaky start there, but genuinely this guy's not that hard. But the Astral Apprehension is basically one of the only moves where you do have to be very careful. Yeah. Okay. So you can see even with block, it did 2,000 damage per hit. Get some ATB back. I think I took this guy a little bit too easily because I did Alexander and I was feeling a little bit pumped up from beating Alexander. I thought I can just blow through this guy, but you have to be more careful. Okay, there comes telekinesis. And then now I'm going to test my psychotic breakthrough. I got stuck behind the rock, so I was a bit scared for a second. It's like, is this still going to work? Zack's there too. And there you go. So we both managed to take no damage. So that's the kind of thing that could end your run if you don't know how to deal with it. Finally, time for a synergy ability. This is the kind of thing that works well against it anyway, so I think once you get the first synergy ability off, from there on you should be able to really take control of the fight. Let's go for it. Almost there.
Take the lead.
Nice.
Oh no, you don't! Going all out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much. I don't think it has a particular elemental affinity. Yeah, it just doesn't do a lot of damage. I think for Zack it's just not that great an idea. In hindsight, I probably wouldn't have used him to do attacking magic.
Sorry. Calling fire.
That's the difference. I think if Sephiroth were there, like you'd be like that guy would be dead at this point. With Zack, I think you have to get much better at learning how to charge up his abilities. And use like the level 3 meteor shots and all that kind of stuff. But he can do this still.
Safety first.
Yeah, because I learned my lesson from how hard those astral apprehensions hit. We can just about get another one on.
I got
And
this.
so this should keep me safe for the rest of this fight. Okay, let's do it again. And after this one, he basically has no chance.
Deal with that.
Get in there.
Gotcha. My turn.
It's definitely under pressure. You can literally kind of physically see how under pressure it is. It's getting slapped around. So there you go. We had a bit of a shaky start, but we took control afterwards. And now we're good. And so now, we are going to come to the end of my best attempt so far. So this was after about 3 hours. And I had that fail at Alexander. That was the furthest I'd got. And then the first time I beat Alexander, I made it to round number 9 against, of course, Bahamut. And this is the attempt that broke my heart. This is the attempt that pissed me off the most out of everything that I did in the post-game of Rebirth. And by the end of it, you will hopefully understand why. So I'll let you kind of watch the fight. In general, the main reason I struggled against Bahamut was because I basically wasn't taking out the wings quickly enough. And so in my winning attempt that you're going to see, Bahamut is one that I will show for a second time. I was able to take out the wings a lot more efficiently. In general, that's a problem that I always had. And I've been hearing that, for example, using Prime Mode with Cloud is a good way to take out the wings a bit more quickly without having to rely on having the wind up of Braver or trying to find a magic build that allows, let's say, Aurora to be enough instead of Aeroga, which obviously takes a lot more work to do. In the end, for me, what worked best was to find, modify my Aero build enough that just using the tier 2 spell was enough to take out a wing each time. So with that, basically, as long as Cloud gets 2 ATBs during the whole particle charge thing, then he's basically always going to be able to take out the wings. But if you try to do it, let's see this first attempt, let's see what I do here. Yeah, so I'm going to try to do it I'm not using my magic at the moment. Let's have a look. So you can see the right wing still has enough, even an Infinity's End, it's not taking out a wing. So this is just not optimized enough. And Bahamut's one of those who's really good as an optimization check. If you're not able to take out these wings with 1 ATB at this level, I think, you're probably not doing it right. There's some aspect of your build that's not strong enough. I think either that, or obviously you can probably learn to use things like Prime Mode, etc. to kind of make it better. But even then, Prime Mode costs an ATB. So basically, whichever way you look at it, I think if you really want to do it right and give yourself the best chance, you need to take out a wing using 1 ATB and maybe like a few physical, like normal attacks or something. So not what you're seeing here. Now, this is going to bring me towards the reason why this fight pissed me off so much. 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is that one good thing to do, and something I would advise to people, if you find that your general issue is more so to do with like blocking, parrying, you just don't know how to deal with the turns. Like, let's just say your build is more powerful than mine. Like, you can use an Aurora and just knock out the wings. Like, you're just uber powerful. But you're getting hit so much that you just can't, like, you can't get along. So either with Odin, or with Alexander, or with Bahamut. One piece of good advice, I think, from that I've heard, and that I tried to utilize a little bit for Odin, was to practice the fights. Go into like the singular fights, go into the full might mode and just practice them so that you get a chance to really just see their moves over and over again and find like your timing, how to block them, how to avoid them, that kind of thing. And that's going to go a long way. Now, that's great, but these guys are a different level to what you face in full might, even when it's hard mode. And the reason that sucks specifically here for Bahamut is twofold. One, it's hard to prep a build where you know how much damage you need to do to take out the wing. And so that really annoys me, because let's say you go into full might Bahamut and you do like an Aurora on one of the wings and it takes it out. You assume to yourself in this fight you'd be able to do the same. But the answer is that it doesn't work the same way, because the one in this fight is more powerful than the full might version. And so I didn't know that until I got this far in. And so it doesn't help you to kind of build, get your build ready and to train to create a way to take out the wings as quickly as possible, because the HPs don't match up, so you don't really know if it's going to work for this one or not. So that's one reason why I think it's annoying. So not being able to practice individual rounds just really sucks for those type of reasons. And 2, every single fight you do against Bahamut, and we fought him countless times so far in the playthrough, there is one thing that generally the game has shown you and demonstrated to you over and over again. And that is that if you have full HP and you have Mana Wall, you will be able to survive Giga Flare. So again, full might version of Bahamut, hard mode, Gilgamesh Island, whatever you want to do, if you have Mana Wall and you have full HP with a character like Cloud, you are surviving Giga Flare. Therefore, I was thinking to myself, okay, I've not been able to take out the wings. All I need to do is just make sure I have Mana Wall when it's time for Giga Flare. So it's coming soon. So first of all, we're going to kind of get some momentum in this fight. Knock it down. Again, if you can kill it in one stagger, if you're good enough to kill it in one stagger, then that's fantastic. It's never a problem anyway. But if you have a build and or a style where you can't take it out in a single stagger, then you're going to need to deal with a Giga Flare if you're not taking the wings out properly. The screen's spazzing out a little bit here. The camera's in a weird place. And so now, at this stage, I was already like, let's just start protecting against Giga Flare. We're going to get hit with it. What's the point? I won't be able to take it out with one limit break of my own, so let's just make sure we're ready. Try to have full HP for everybody.
Gotcha. Safety first.
You always have to do it one more time. Be a little bit extra. Okay, gonna try to interrupt this bombardment here. There we go. And it also buys me a little bit more time to make sure I get some ATB for Giga Flare. So another particle charge here. It gives you plenty of time to do it, and that's why if you can take the wings out consistently, there's absolutely no reason you should even see Giga Flare. But by this point, I'd kind of given up. Like, Braver was too weak. Like my arrow spell was too weak. Like I just couldn't do it. And so I decided to just tank it because that's what I've always been able to do for the playthrough up until now. So, Giga Flare time. I have Mana Wall. I have maximum HP. And for Cloud, I also gave him like the HP plus 30 still. So 7,300 for Cloud and 6,900 for Zack. So there's not been a single time where Mana Wall has been able to kill us in this particular state. They both have absolute maximum HP. And there is literally no more HP that Cloud can have here. Unless he equips a different accessory, maybe. But this has never been necessary up until this point. Now, look at this. Check the damage. So I'm going to pause it here because it's going to kind of leave the screen. 7,369 and 7,700. So what this means is that there is no way to survive Giga Flare, even with Mana Wall, and also with HP plus 30. That had never happened in the playthrough before. Now, yes, of course, it's my fault for letting Giga Flare happen in the first place, 100% true, but the game kind of training you in how to deal with a particular thing. Like, if you haven't been able to prepare yourself for Giga Flare, so if you don't have full HP, and you don't have Mana Wall, then yeah, you deserve to die. But if you've done all of those things, even in a difficult run, like even in full might, hard mode Bahamut, it doesn't kill you in this scenario. So then for one specific fight, just kind of flip that script, I found that super annoying. But, all things said, I had a limit break, I had 2 full ATBs, and I still had a chance. So let me continue to play it for a second here, and then you will see why I got so pissed off. So as soon as this happened, I was already really annoyed. And then... I'm frantically thinking, what can I do? I'm thinking, got to arise here. Got to do it. And then look at this. That was unbelievable. Let me literally rewind that so you can see it again. Like, the sequence of events that happened here was absolutely insane. So, he gets revived. He has a 2 ATB. He tries to use Arise, but he has the status on him that incrementally does damage now and then. Like, a shitty, like, little 300 damage. And look at how close he was to completing the animation before it killed him. And also look at how little time was left before the status was going to wear out. Just look at this. This was literally one of the most time-sensitive, ridiculous game overs, like deaths, I think I've ever had. Look at this.
So much for
The status literally, you can't see, like it's so grayed out, you can't even see it. And I died. Like, it was the most angry that I'd been for quite some time. So stage 9, spent a bunch of time getting there, and I died in like the most bullshit, unlucky, stupid way. And I was really, really angry. I'd avoided like any serious anger and frustration up until this point, but that was where it finally got to me, and I was really pissed off. So now, what I will do, I will show you the Bahamut fight one more time, with a better setup in which we don't need to deal with Giga Flare, and then we will go on and complete this challenge. I literally got annoyed even watching it back, it really pissed me off. Here we are now at the winning attempt. So this time, I basically added a little bit more power to my magic. I got rid of Reprieve, I started to take some more risks, and you can see Cloud now has 5,724 HP, and that's his maximum HP. So I finally got rid of HP plus 30 because I really needed to go harder in terms of my power. So I traded in some of my security for power, but it wasn't going to matter as much because this time I had HP Absorption on my wind magic. And so yes, I have 1,500 less max HP, but I'm going to be absorbing HP every single time I unload an Aurora or Eroga. So that was generally going to be one of the things that really changed my fortunes here. So Zack is playing more of a, again, support role here, trying to heal where he can, trying to provide buffs when he can, and Cloud just tries to make sure he has 2 ATBs. So Particle Charge comes in. Now this is how I wanted it to be. Like, any fights you saw where this didn't happen, that obviously wasn't my intention. So right wing, it still wasn't perfect, but now we're close enough that it's not that big a deal. So just do it on the left wing, and then Zack can kind of clean up the scraps. There's enough kind of going on here to make sure that we don't have an issue. If I was to, I think, does Cloud have Faith? Yeah, he doesn't have Faith yet. If you can add Faith to Cloud as well here, then it's a guaranteed, like, knock him out in a single Aurora. So that was definitely better. I think if you can add Faith to Cloud as well, then it's like a guaranteed single Aurora win. And what I also had done is you can see that I have magic efficiency back. I put it on the Aurora here, just to be sure. Basically, it turned into much more of an Aurora spam run. And if you're spamming it against enemies that aren't necessarily weak to wind, the MP that you gain back isn't as strong. And so since I wasn't using things like HP plus 30 anymore, I had more free slots to just really go in hard on the Aurora, sorry, the wind materia, and just make it absolutely as strong as I possibly could. So here's another particle charge. This time he has 1 ATB. He does have haste. I would like to get a Faith on him. That probably would have worked a bit better too. But Zack's getting blocked by the body again here. That's the only thing. Sometimes you kind of get blocked by the body for the other wing. So this is still not perfect. Like, you should be doing it in one clean ATB, I think. But now I'm just like, yeah, just go. You can see the pressure increase there, and I got 2,600 HP back from that move. So this really was like go all in on wind materia and just use it as much as I can. Yeah, so now we're all kind of on the arrow train here. I decided to go double Aurora. I feel like maybe it might do more damage. Less animation time. I can still get some more normal hits in. So I can get 3 Auroras off here, thanks to haste. So again, not amazing. Like, you could probably do a lot more damage than that, but I was definitely happier with the damage that I was able to do here. Particle charge immediately. I think basically it does a few particle charges, almost like cheat ones, like it gives you no time. So there you go. So what that means is I think no matter how much you kill the wings, it will use Giga Flare eventually. But if you're killing it every reasonable opportunity you get, the fight should take long enough that you basically never see Giga Flare, and then it's not really an issue. So here we go again. Zack still has plenty of time to use some MP moves. Let's see what I go for here. I'm curious. Yeah, I guess I wasn't sure. I think maybe I'm waiting for another particle charge here. Just making sure I have full ATB for both of them. Because if you can make it out of particle charge while still having some ATB, you can really make use of that pressured phase. And you can really work the gauge quickly. So I think Bahamut, a lot of it is kind of ATB management here. And obviously making a build powerful enough to knock out the wings fast. So I wasted a little bit of time. Again, his body's just blocking the moves. So this wasn't perfect, but again, should be enough. And just making sure here. He does have Swiftcast, which again is very useful for this specific type of work. And again, this time, instead of playing defensively, mana wall or whatever, we're going hard. We're trying to finish it off as quickly as possible. While it's still pressured, get another arrow in. So you're seeing the much more like leaning hard into Aurora and just playing kind of more aggressively is working well for me. Obviously not really needing to heal Cloud anywhere near as much as a result of HP Absorb is helping a lot. So there's another one. He's really trying hard. He's spamming those particle charges, but we've generally been equal to it so far. I think every time I've had a reasonable chance to do it, I've managed to take out the wings. So Because he has Swiftcast as well, it's always worth just going for the quick magic here. There you go. There we go again. So here, really, we should kind of be able to finish him off, but I think I'm not going to be able to. But you can see, still no use of Prime Mode. I just did not learn that Prime Mode was a good thing to use, which is a big shame. But I definitely recommend looking into it if you guys are struggling. But the arrow build in general, it's pretty nice. I mean, if you had a Genji glove as well, I reckon that's even better. There's a lot of quad 9s you can pull with this build. So we're nearly there. But ATB is a little bit bad here. He goes into Giga Drive mode, so this is still taking too long. Like, ultimately, I should still be doing better here. But message from the future, it's going to be okay. I'm going to still make it through, but I'm getting close to limit breaks as well. But I reckon if I had the Genji, some of those punishes in the staggers would have been better. Try and dodge here. Not too bad. Again, those are the kind of things, if you really need it, like that's the type of stuff you can practice. Because obviously, even if the damage changes and stuff, like the actual animation time and the dodging and stuff is still going to be the same. So here we go again. Okay. Yeah, so I made my way around to the other side just to make sure the body doesn't block me. Keep the pressure on. Yeah, that kind of slowed me down a little bit. I didn't have enough time here to get off a proper spell, but basically any opportunity you get, you just use that arrow. But we're nearly there. We should be able to take it out before it's able to do Giga Flare. Had to do like one big giant move before I was able to finish things off. Bastard. I'm going to use this just to be safe. I don't want any last minute drama here. And now we can finish it. So we didn't see Giga Flare. It can charge all it wants, but it's finished. There you go. I think it was on the wings. That's why I didn't die immediately. But there we go. And with that, we make it to the final round. So this was the first time I made it to the final round. I think it had been about 6 hours since I started, like this specific one, including like taking some little breaks in between to just think and lots of menu time, etc. But here, let's see how this first and only attempt that we had went. So trying to buff Cloud a little bit. Straight in with this to try and see if we can put him under pressure quickly. So same general idea, yeah. So if you get the limit off, it immediately goes into that, which is nice. So same general idea here. It's pressured, just go for the bigger ogre, push the pressure as quickly as possible and do big damage while you're at it. So I did 7,200 damage and I healed 2,500 at the same time. So we're both going hard here, just stagger as quickly as possible before he gets any momentum in the fight. And Zack's already, look at his limit gauge. It's already pretty strong here. So we're really just like wasting no time. Just go hard. Same again. Gonna double Aurora most likely. Yeah, still got some defensive instincts. You can see the difference in HP here. Zack's down to 1,700. Cloud with much more. I hold on to the ATB here. And now I'm going to try and put it under pressure with this. Zack's got the cuffs on, but for now at least it doesn't matter too much. So trying to get to Sleipnir's Fury again as quickly as possible. It's got a moment here. There you go, another big damage move there. So keeping hold of that ATB. Just really unloading here, though, getting as much powerful stuff in there as I can before he really gets a foothold in the fight. There you go. Yeah, even with the blocks, that was a lot of damage, but we're still okay. And all of this stuff gets us one step closer to being able to use another synergy ability. So now I learned my lesson, and this time I summon Phoenix in the final fight where it matters, in case we get the Zantetsuken, or we just die beforehand. So definitely going to try and get a re-raise here. There we go. So I'm not going to push that yet. I'm going to do it now. Yeah, so one Aeroga is almost enough to already, like, get the stagger from that point onwards. So I know I'm not going to be able to kill it in this stagger, so I'm just taking my time here. This stagger was more of a, it's buying me time to just prepare for the second half of the fight, which is going to be harder. So re-raise time. Yeah, especially with haste, obviously building the ATB is definitely way better. Right. Once again. Trying to get that Fura, keep the pressure on. And now we have two re-raises, so Phoenix has done his job here. And so now I was thinking it's in my hands. If I fail from this point onwards, then I only have myself to blame. I basically have everything I need. Put pressure on. Yeah, still managed to do it. Spatial distortion coming up. Can I stay on the same side? Oh no! Did I stay on the right side? I don't remember if I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, thank God for that.
Deal with that.
Yeah, Zack like came back in at the last second. Sheesh, that was dangerous. There we go, another stagger. Unfortunately, no limit brace this time. But Phoenix will have its say as well. Definitely felt no shame in summoning here, man. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. Okay. So, lost the buffs. So now I'm putting them back on. There you go. Synergy ability. So you're seeing here, like, I'm basically not letting him breathe. I'm kind of doing what he does to me. It's a bit of a taste of his own medicine. So he's always getting some kind of pressure. He's having to deal with a limit break. He's having to deal with one of these. But we were a bit unlucky here. That move basically just cancels everything other than a limit break. Speaking of limit breaks, I'm like, okay, you're going to cancel me with one of those. My turn. And this kind of wears down the timer as well for Zack a little bit. And there you go, he's back. And we get the Fura once again. So this is looking pretty good here. But he's coming towards me, so I was a little bit worried about basically getting taken out. Just missed it. Yeah, a little bit indecisive about whether to stick or twist here. I'm like close enough to the fight where I think I have a chance. I keep the pressure on here. This is a little risky. It is a little risky. There you go. Re-raise came in there, very useful because I'd sacrificed the ability to revive to have stronger materia. So that's where re-raise is definitely helpful to me. I think Cloud had a shot to do this by himself without Zack, honestly. I do think he was close enough to finishing it off. But definitely the re-raise was a big help. Yeah, I think the only way is if Cloud got another limit break. So Zack does die again. At this stage, we have to really hold on here. He just gets so brutal in this final bit. But there you go. We held on. And the Eroga build proved to be enough to finally complete the legendary challenge. So, was this like, you know, the ultimate... Yes, guys, I've shown you how to do it now. You should all be fine. You should all be able to do it. Definitely not. There's easier ways to do it, I think, still. Like, there's still further optimizations you could make. And there's also much more, like, skills you could learn to also make the fight easier. But ignoring all of that, my main thing was to just complete the brutal and the legendary challenges, and that is what I have achieved.